Everybody, welcome back to Northernlion, Place the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. We lose, we win. Like the Alanis Morissette song recently mentioned. You live, you learn, you starve, you eat. You know, I think I made up that lyric, but you get the general gist of it. Okay, we verped a verp pill, and this is what my life has become now. QLLJ. We all know the rapper is actually LLQJ, 1B7C. That's a more clever joke than we typically start off an episode with, so I'll take it. I'll take it. All we need now, this is where we're at in terms of Isaac-related synergies, okay? I think it'd be cool to have brimstone homing shots, because then your laser would home. Yeah? Well, what if we get Acid Baby and never take another pill apart from Verp? That's right. Unlimited, very, very mild room poisoning effects. How do you feel about that? Probably pretty silly that I just outsmarted the whole freaking game. Stats-wise, I actually like where we're at. You know, previously, I probably would have been a little perturbed, and, yeah, that's unfortunate thanks to my reflection, but life goes on. Well, that's not so good. We gotta be very careful about taking these pills, dude. Because, if I take the pill, I lose the endless verp. Now that I think about it, does that matter at all? And the answer to that question is absolutely not. If we had gotten Acid Baby in our first item room, that would have been cool. But, you know, let's be honest. The endless verp is actually essentially meaningless. If anything, we'd rather have the chance to get a good pill, because that good pill could then be verped and have its impact doubled. Alright. Now I really like our stats. So let's try this. It's 48-hour energy. And then I guess we'll verp 48-hour energy. That's a pretty good result for us. Okay. One makes you small. I don't even know if I want to take the other pill yet, but I will. Ah, that's okay. I just heard the katunk, and I thought I was in a more dangerous position than I actually am. I think I'm going to look for a second secret room, because HP is a little dire, and, alrighty, it's going to be one of these runs. Full health. One makes you small. I'm going to continue to take the one makes you smalls, because I don't know if we've gotten that achievement yet. Plus, it's just kind of interesting. Alright, let me caffeinate here. It's a Sunday. I hesitate to even mention it, because Sunday episodes, you know, they got a little bit of pressure. Because yesterday was my day off. Good lord. What'd you do on your day off, NL? Did you get a helicopter ride over the Grand Canyon? No. No, I didn't. Oh, did you go on a sommelier experience in the Okanagan? No. No, I did not. Did you go to the mall and sample some fast food fried chicken like last week? No, I didn't. That was last week, as you so astutely are aware. Here's what I did, okay? I woke up early, and I like waking up early on the day off, because it feels like you get more time. You know, it took me a long time to come to realize that. I spent my whole life locked into the idea that, you know, if you got Saturday off, you should stay up wicked late on Friday. Because then on Friday, or on Saturday, you got the day off so you can actually sleep in. But yo, you know what's better than sleeping in? Being awake and having the time to play more Civilization 6. I guess we'll do this. Yeah, I woke up relatively early by my standards. It was like 9:15 a.m. And then I was like, you know, I had a Civ game, not the one for videos, which is probably, I guess at this point, already reached its conclusion, which I shall not mention. But suffice it to say, Green Civilization, I'll be looking for their reunion tour any day now. Oh, we have a library back there. I had a game where I started, here's how I like to play Civ right now. I like to go random civilization, and then let whatever Civ that I randomed determine the way that I play the game. So if you don't play Civ, this is going to be, I'm going to try to make this a universal bit, okay? But it's like, I randomed China. China has the ability to build a ton of world wonders pretty quickly. So I built a bunch of world wonders. It looked like I might go for a cultural victory, but then I was like, that's boring. So every Civ game that I've played since the one that's gone up on YouTube, I followed the exact same strategy. Let me know if you're the same kind of person, same kind of Civ player that I am. I think I still will go Book of the Dead here. I explore the entire starting continent I'm on, and then I get a scientific advantage, and in 1755, I roll tanks down the doorsteps of everybody else that has the misfortune of being on the continent that I'm on. Knock, knock, Norway. Oh, nice heavy chariots. This is called an M1 Abrams. You know, we used it to bust bunkers back in WW2. Yeah, no kidding. Decisive victory. That's what I thought. And then after I wipe the whole continent and take over all of their cities, the game seems to go like, hey, if you want, you can go for a domination victory. And I go, dominate? That requires sailing. And I refuse. So instead, I just use my city advantage to get a staggering amount of, scientific bonuses. I can't believe we actually dodged through the spikes there. And then I won a science victory. It was a good time. That's not spoilers. That's not coming to YouTube. That was for me personally. By the time I finished that, that was only like 12:30 p.m. It was why I had this perception of Civilization, that Civilization was a game that's meant to, that it's like 12 hours long per campaign. But, I played on quick. It was less than a 4-hour game, which means that it was about as long as half of a game of Dota Auto Chess. So I can really see how people will get sucked into the game. Anyway, what did I do after that? Well, I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of my day mentally was spent fighting the urge to not buy Civilization 6 on the Nintendo Switch. Because on my day off, I don't want to spend too much time in my office. It's small. There's not room for other people in here, which is, part of the reason I started taking a set day off is so I, can spend a little bit more time with my wife and, really just enjoy life instead of treating life as, the harness or the chassis that allows me to also record videos. So, it kind of defeats the purpose, right? So I was like, maybe I'll buy Civilization 6 on Nintendo Switch so I can play it in another room in my house. And then I go, I don't want to spend $80 on this, and I play, 3 games of Tetris 99, and I go, Tetris 99 is hard. Maybe I'll buy Civ. Civ's a game where the computer gives you the illusion that, they're putting up resistance, but eventually you just destroy them, at least on normal difficulty. But anyway, I don't want to belabor the point too much. I didn't purchase it. Had a nice Mexican lunch of tacos, carnitas, chips, and guacamole. That's basically it. I mean, wasn't that aggressive of a day off. You know what I mean? It wasn't one of those days off where we're like, we're going to try a new experience. It's a very casual day off. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. And can I just say, I'm not very happy. I'm so happy that we're in March. I think that it's been like a long winter. And last winter was the first winter in my life where I think I could ever suggest that I was affected from a mood standpoint by the weather. Yo. I mean, we only have 1 HP. Hold up a second. Puberty is going to take us to 2 out of 3 to get the next HP bonus. I think I'd rather just take Death's List. Dark Princess Crown is not that good, but it's not that bad either. This summer, I've honestly, let's start with where I was going earlier, which is, I'd never really found myself affected by the weather. A lot of the people that live in the Pacific Northwest, especially if they come from another part of the country that gets more sun, they are affected by the weather, and they end up having to buy what are called SAD lights, seasonal affective depression or disorder lights, basically to give them a dose of vitamin D. Last year I was feeling pretty run down around this time. I didn't let on because I'm a professional, but I was like, man, This weather is garbage. Please don't kill me. I probably shouldn't have taken the Harbingers, but, you know, it is what it is, right? Anyway, either way. This year, I don't know if it's exercise or just a more sustainable state of mind, but I feel a lot better. But I'm so ready for it to be, like, decent weather outside. And I don't even know, it's very hard for me to explain. Because people go, oh, you're looking forward to summer. Are you, like, an outdoorsy guy? And I'm like, nah. Oh, do you like to go out on, like, patios or something like that? You like to have a margarita on the patio? No, not at all. Anytime I'm given the choice to dine in or out of a restaurant, 99% of the time I'm saying, please put me inside of the restaurant where there's air conditioning instead of out on the patio. I'm not anti-patio, I just prefer the... oh, geez, stay away, please. Stay away, you cowards! Let me get a spirit heart. It's illegal to not let me get a spirit heart here. It's like, oh, you got, like, events that happen in the summer? You know, you a big soccer fan? The Whitecaps season started yesterday. How did they do? I don't know. I don't follow MLS, but that's okay, you know. More power to you if you do. I like that I live in a city with a few robust sporting franchises. No, I'd say, if anything, it's actually a little bit more, I'm dead, dude. I suck. I went way too aggressive, let's be honest. I'm not even going to show you the seed here. Mega runs need to be preserved. Thanks for the HP, by the way. I really appreciate it. If anything, you know, the hockey season is over in the summer. So there's a lot of, like, checking our Canucks and being like, our NCAA prospect tweeted a picture of a Diet Coke. What does this mean for our season, you know? So I really don't have a logical, reasonable explanation for why I like the summer. It's just something to do. It's the sun. He's walking outside, and I don't know. The summer is like, it's not a responsibility-free time, but I feel like humans are almost like, well, I shouldn't say human beings. I should say I'm almost like a reverse hibernator, wherein like I don't think we take it honestly. You know, in the winter months, you do a lot of the work to prepare for the summer. And then in the summer, you're like, okay, this is where we can actually start having some good times. Wearing my prescription sunglasses outside. Anyway, what I was going to say is, how wild is it? We're going from insular bit to insular bit here, but Kate illuminated for me yesterday that the Vancouver Titans, which is, if you're not familiar, our Overwatch League team, is apparently one of the best Overwatch League teams in existence. This is their first year, but because of the... I guess, essentially, it's a rebranding of a Korean team that was in the second-tier league last year, but probably was capable of being in the first-tier league. Anyway, I've talked a little bit about that in these videos. I don't watch Overwatch League, and I'm going to level with you. I watched... their match against the LA Valiant yesterday. I don't understand it, okay? And that's not a negative thing. It's not like, oh, back in my day, we played, you know, sports that gave you CTE, and we liked it. You got a concussion, we said, walk it off, Johnny. Yeah, you got a permanent brain injury, but, you know, it was worth it because you got the first down. But I watched it, and I don't understand, for the most part, what's happening. And, you know, this is probably true of a lot of sports. You know, not every sport is easy to understand on first glance, I guess. But either way, I'm happy that our city has, you know, what's the word I'm looking for here? I'm gonna say something to, like, drive civic pride. I mean, I'm hoping... That's fine. That bone heart wasn't long for this world anyway. I'm not, like, I'm pretty sure there's not going to be, like, a parade down Granville Street if, you know, the Vancouver Titans end up winning the Overwatch League. What would probably happen is during an NHL preseason game next year, the on-ice presenter, Hannah Bernard, will get out there and be like, you know, those of you who follow the Overwatch League know that the Vancouver... You get the idea, and they'll introduce them, and then all the people in the stands will be like, what? Anyway. But it's cool. I still, you know, when I watch the Overwatch League, to me, it just looks like chaos. And I know from having, at one point, understood the visual language of Dota 2 enough to follow not just the international, but even smaller tournaments, that comes with time. And again, it's not really fair to suggest that that's not true in other sports. But what I'll say about other sports is, like, you know, if you're watching soccer, or you're watching hockey, the only thing that people tend to have a problem with is something called the offside rule. And I'll tell you something about the offside rule, okay? You don't even need to know it. I've been watching hockey, you know, for 28 years or something like that. I know what the offsides rule is, and it's not that complicated. But, you know, when you explain it, it's like explaining a board game. People's eyes glaze over. All you have to do is know when there's a whistle, you go, okay, what's the whistle for? And then the announcer's going to be like, offside. And then you go, if it's on your team, you go, get your eyes checked, zebras. And if it's on the other team, you go, it's about dang time. That's all you need to know. Same with soccer, you know. Anytime the whistle's blown, you just hold your hands out of your sides. And then when they, you know, you go, oh, that's not a penalty. And then when they show the replay, you go, actually, to be honest, that might have been a penalty. But I'm surprised they called it. Regardless, big ups to the Vancouver Titans. Congratulations on your success so far. I don't really understand, as mentioned, they don't play home games this year. Nobody plays home games this year except for the Los Angeles teams. But maybe in the future, I don't know. Perhaps. It's cool either way. Will I go to a home game? I don't know, man. I didn't really know what I was looking at, to be honest. I will say, I think I did this exact bit about Overwatch League earlier. It's not really a bit from a comedic sense. I mean, it's a bit from like a... It's like my legitimate perspective on Overwatch League is somebody, you know, whether it's Fortnite, Overwatch, I don't know, PUBG, Apex Legends, FIFA, etc., etc. Somebody's got to bite the bullet if eSports are going to become extremely popular. They're going to have to invest literally millions, probably tens of millions of dollars into, you know, building awareness and, you know, grassroots organizations and playing players' salaries and also prize money that probably dwarf the amount of revenue that sport actually takes in order to build the organization. And it seems like Overwatch League is doing that. Trying to do that, at least, which I respect, you know? I can't imagine that it's, as of right now, is a huge money-making endeavor for the owners. You know, especially the, hold on, is that, no, we're good. This is a really good run, by the way. You know, as soon as you saw we had Mega, you knew we were set. I'm embarrassed that we lost earlier, but that's what happens when you fly too close to the sun. What is Icarus? You know, the team, or the ownership group that owns the Vancouver Titans also owns the Vancouver Canucks. How much money does the Vancouver Canucks organization make annually? I don't know. It's got to be in... I would assume it's in the high tens of millions, but it might even be higher than that. Once you factor in, you know, TV broadcasting rights, merchandise, you know, minus player salaries, arena operations, etc., etc. Let me put it this way, okay? If you want to buy a sandwich at Rogers Arena, it will, and I'm not talking about a good sandwich. I'm talking about a processed cheese, grilled cheese, served with some pre-bagged kettle-cooked potato chips. You're probably looking at like 11 to 12 Canadian dollars, which even by Vancouver standards is pretty high. So if the team's not making money, something's gone terribly wrong. I'm sorry to say, Louis Erickson, were you not on the team, maybe I could get some cheaper sandwiches. And there's also, if you want to get real dicey, there's good food in Rogers Arena. Like literal food that is not just good for arenas, it's actually appetizing on like a human level, and that's going to cost you even more. I remember there's a friend of ours who maybe is watching this video. He got us tickets to a Canucks game. So then in, you know, a reciprocity, I was like, hey, let me buy you a couple beers. And again, it's not like I felt bad about it or I'm keeping a running tally here, like, well, how much do those tickets cost versus the price of the beer? But the beers were like $15.75 each for a pint. So, I'm just saying, okay, if the team's not making money, something's going wrong. Because you shouldn't have to be charging $75 a drink in order to make money on a sports franchise. But I digress. Anyway. Where was I going with this? I don't remember. Anyway, I'm just saying. I have to imagine that, you know, the Overwatch League is kind of in a place where, I mean, everybody that's in the stadium for a hockey game, you know, could, let's just say on the low side, it would probably be around 14,000 people. They all paid close to, you know, $50 to $100 minimum for the tickets, potentially more. Then on top of that, you throw in the broadcasting rights and you throw in any concessions that they might purchase. Angelic Prism's just more fun, let's be honest. You know, you throw in the fact that if you go see like a Canucks game in the stands, probably like a third of people are wearing a jersey. If you buy the jerseys first party, they're like $250 to $400 each. I know we're getting into some inside baseball here. You're like, oh, what do I care about? All this. And you know, some of the jerseys were purchased in 1996, but regardless. I always thought it was funny. There was a Chinese New Year game in Vancouver this year. So they sold like one-day only jerseys that were red and gold. They were $888 each. You know, 8 is a number associated with good luck in Chinese culture. The team lost, I think they lost 7-2. I have to imagine that was not the most successful day of the year at the Canucks team store. Yo, 4 for 4? Oh, the fourth one was still great, but we got items out of the other 3. Anyway, I'm just saying. I think it's cool, you know, I don't watch much in the way of eSports, but how did we get 5 bombs? I really thought we just picked up a single bomb there. I don't watch much in the way of eSports, but again, I think if eSports are going to be popular, I don't know, I think there's 2 ways to grow it, okay? And I very much, from a viewer standpoint, I think I kind of agree with the way the Blizzard seems to be going about it, which is we need to throw money around this to generate hype and, you know, guarantee player salaries so that we get the best players and, you know, also just from a, you know, compassionate human being standpoint. I always thought it was wild in esports how, like, you know, first place, here's $1.5 million each. Second place, $75,000 for the whole team and a gift certificate to KFC. Seems like a very stressful way to live your life. The other way, by the way, is, oh, why did I invest the key into that? The other way, I think, is the way that some other organizations choose to run it, and I disagree with this from a business standpoint, but I don't also work in the business, cough cough, anymore. So, and that avenue is waiting to see if the demand is there and then slowly investing a little bit more, but I don't know, dude. I think I know for a fact I talked about this last time, but like I feel like if you came out with the sports that are popular now, I think our speed is good enough to justify that. If you came out with the sports that are popular now, if you were like, hey, the United States of America, get ready for the launch of a new sport, basketball, people would be like, you know, I think you'd hit the resident sleeper. I honestly, genuinely do. That seemed okay. I think people are full. I think you gotta trick them into watching new sports. You know, slam ball. That's a good one. I don't know where I'm going with this. Anyway, let me caffeinate. We'll switch gears. I don't need to sleep. I was just going to say, were we on Depths 2? I mean, it's destined to be a very fast run because of Mega, but... Dude, I don't know. My Isaac skills, they've been slumping lately. No doubt about it. Again, The only counter-argument I can offer, because the obvious conclusion that you draw from the few data points that we got is that by playing half as much Isaac, I've gotten substantially worse. I'm going to bring up a conceptual counter-argument and then a... Oh my god. Are you okay? What? What's going on? Alright. I think it was a sneeze, but couldn't tell because I had my headphones on. A real counter-argument and then a conceptual counter-argument. So the real counter-argument, it will come second. The conceptual counter-argument is, I don't think I've been playing half as much Isaac for long enough for it to have a... Can I go, please? Can I go, please? Or is this room just designed to kill you if your speed's not above, like, 8? I don't think it's likely to assume the Isaac proteins in my brain have denatured enough to make that a sensible conclusion to draw after only a couple of weeks. The other thing is, yo, Serpent's Kiss, ah-sa-sa-sa. We've had slumps like this before, while playing 2 or even more Isaac episodes a day. So I think it's just coincidental timing. But your mileage, maybe. I don't know. You might disagree with me on that. It's up to me to kind of shoulder the burden of proof there, I suppose. Do you ever worry, by the way, that a focus and obsession with debate and argumentative essays has ruined the way that we talk to one another? No? Okay, maybe just me. I'm gonna grab this Polaroid. Yeah. We could take Golden Teleporter, but it would be disingenuous, I think. For one, Mega's rare enough that I cherish it whenever we get it, and for two, we only would be using it to get it, if that makes sense. We'd only be using Golden Teleporter to get out of Boss Rush, because it's very unlikely we do our due diligence on these floors to get one error room at this point. Anyway. I'm not going to continue down that road. I've been down that road a lot. Suffice it to say, it's a weird part, I think, about being in the gaming space. Let's take Algis. Is that, you know, if I was like, hey, how do you feel about, you know, carbon recapture taxes? People are like, I have no strong opinions one way or the other. And if you're like, hey, what's your game of the year for 2017? And you're like, no, what's this? Oh, can you explain to me why? The burden of proof is on you. Have you not played Yoko Taro's magnum opus, Nier Automata? Let me outline for you the reasons that I feel like this is the consensus game of the year choice in this 5-paragraph essay. And there's not even anything wrong with that. It's just like, I think we should have more English classes that are just talking to other people like human beings instead of argumentative sounding boards. And this is not a knock. I had to pick a game, okay? It's not a knock on Yoko Taro. I haven't played Nier Automata or Nier Matapia, but you know, some game had to be the choice there, and I think I chose the right one from a community standpoint. Anyway, hey, we got Serpent's Kiss. Give me some Demon Hearts. A deal with the Angel. Enough bombs. I really wanted that to be an Emperor, but that's fine. Give me Halo, I think. Why spend the key? Sorry, I gotta... Like I said, I had a sneeze. It's been percolating back there for 15 seconds. And, you know, sneeze really overrides the executive functions in your brain a little bit. I also spent a lot of... And I don't even know, like, if it's a decent PR move to say this, but I spent a lot of time... Let me give you what I call the racing game limbo, okay? Here's my racing game limbo right now. Dirt Rally 2.0 came out. It did not come out on Switch, which makes sense. I understand. Is, you know, from a technological standpoint, is the least powerful console. Racing games part of the selling point is the idea that they usually look fantastic. But anyway, disregarding that, it's fine. I understand. So you know, you could buy it for PlayStation 4. You could buy it for Xbox One. You could buy it for PC. That's acceptable. I don't want to get it for PS4 or PC because those are in my office. And I'm not going to sit in my office and play Dirt Rally 2.0 when I could be hanging out in my living room, you know? Being at least slightly social, interacting with my family and also my pets. So that only leaves the Xbox One. I know I can move the PS4. And here's how deep I got in here. I went in the, you know, I had looked at the PlayStation TV, and I said to myself, I don't want to buy a wireless device to probably suboptimally stream console games to my television. That's like, I don't know. I'd rather just not buy it. So then I was like, well, I could get it for Xbox One, and I don't say this to stoke the fires of console fanboyism. Literally, I just don't want to. I mean, I've gotten review copies of stuff, unsolicited, that I didn't ask for, that are on Xbox One, and, you know, I'm like, oh, cool game's coming out. What's the review code for it? It's Xbox One, and I'm like, The console has literally hit that point for me where, you know, it's so unreliable for us. And every time I mention this, I get people that say, like, well, mine's been fine. I'm over the moon for you. I'm not trying to take down Microsoft as a corporation. You know, I use a ton of Microsoft products. I'm very pro Microsoft, actually. I love C#. I love Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code. I bought Office like some kind of idiot. Anyway, but the hardware is just like, about 75% of the time we turn it on, it spins up for 15 seconds and then goes, there's been an error. Please hard reset your console by holding the power button for 10 seconds and try again. If the problem persists, please call this number. And let's be honest, I'm just not going to do that. I'm just going to complain about it publicly instead because I get more value out of it. We unplugged it as our Netflix machine. You know what we use as our Netflix machine now? The PlayStation 3. And it works fine. That console came out in 2006. Or 2007. It's ancient by gamer terms, and yet it still works totally fine. And then, I mean, where does this connect to Dirt at all? Well, I guess it sort of doesn't, to be fair. But I was also like, man, I'm not paying $80 to buy Dirt Rally 2.0 for the Xbox One when I could just get Forza for free with Microsoft Game Pass. I'm in a weird, again, it's the racing game limbo. It's really hard to justify, and I like racing games in general. It's really hard to justify paying, you know, quite a lot of money for Forza for anything when, you know, Microsoft apparently released the greatest racing game in history, and essentially it's not free, but if you have Microsoft Game Pass, you get it for free. And I have Microsoft Game Pass, because you never know when we might play 1 hour of Sea of Thieves on the show again. Okay, I'm going to try to get, like, maximum Epiphora bonus here. Can we get to 1? Oh, we can get to 1. No, we can't get to 1. We can get to 2. That's still pretty good. And if you combine that with Trinity Shield, I think we got a pretty killer combo here. Oh, you snuck through. Well, it ended up being a fun run, in spite of my own idiocy in getting us to this point to begin with. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Up to the great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I will see you next time. See ya!